Hello everyone, my name is Dark and welcome back to another video of Fairy Tail. Fairy Tail episode 3 and 4 have been so good. The story and visuals have been fantastic and we got to know more and more about our number one waifu, Toka, and the continuation of the fight with Diabolos. So, without further ado, let's dive into this week's episode, Fairy Tail episode 4, The White Mage. We start the episode right where we left off in the rain, where Jalal finally meets Toka. When Jalal confronted Toka, she starts talking about her love story with Natsu. At this point, I actually want to see it. Did it actually ever even happened? At this point, or that is all in her goddamn head? I really want to know. Getting back, the love story crap doesn't work against Jalal. We then get information from Jalal that Toka is actually the founder of Rebellious, the white mage cult that is a counterpart to Avatar. Does that mean she is on par with Seraph himself? It's a maybe, it's a possibility out there. Toka faces ignorance again and says she doesn't know crap about white magic and she is a water based magic user. Yeah, the same water magic that you stole from Mugphobia, as we got to know it last week, and apparently a few other mages as well. Just as Jalal approached her, possibly trying to take her captive, we see our goat Loxes stopping Jalal. Loxes wants an acceptable explanation for what Jalal is trying to do so, as Loxes is hell bent on protecting Toka as she is now a part of Fairy Tail. Then Jalal poses a question, even if she is evil to Loxes, to which he replies, aren't you evil yourself? This line is so sick. Yes, both of these characters were antagonists and were very and are still popular character. Would love to see a fight between them, but I don't think we are ever gonna get it. But I do want it in a future, maybe in a tournament arc or something. Then we cut to ship where Diabolos guild members are riding it. There we see horrendous scene. Urza is quite literally a slave right now. She's walking on four legs now. Kiria then takes Urza downstairs where Natsu and Wendy are captured. Natsu and Wendy both are shocked to see Urza degraded in such a state like this one. It's truly painful to watch. We then move on to Lucy riding a small boat in the middle of the ocean after being kicked out by our Sundere girl Caramel. I thought that Mugphobia would join in on the fight, but that doesn't seem to be the case right now. And then another surprise, a boat approaches Lucy and a tiny grey is handed over to Lucy. As soon as I saw the tiny grey, I knew it. It's time. It's time for Brandish Sama. She's looking as hot as ever. We then get to know what's going on in Alvarez and see some past characters. She says an interesting thing about Larcade being missing. Isn't that the sex dude who got blown away by Zeref? Why does Brandish says he's missing? Even though he's already dead, right? He should be dead. Zeref blows Larcade away in the last season. However, Happy asks for help from Brandish, which she instantly refuses. We all know she is going to help Fairy Tail anyway. She is just being a Sundere. Brandish also tells Lucy that Aquarius' key is gonna be in Giltina, and then we get to hear the classic Fairy Tail music with Lucy and Brandish encouraging each other to find the Aquarius key. Brandish is on her journey to find the key, and Lucy on her way to help out Natsu Urza. We then cut back to Diabolos. It's night time, and miraculously Urza is back to her senses somehow. She wants a piece of Kiria but leaves the room without touching her. As Urza starts freeing Natsu and Wendy, we get an explanation that what Kiria did is essentially a type of hypnosis magic through her eyes. Since Urza's one eye is artificial, hypnosis only had an half the effect of what it should be. Just as Natsu and Wendy are freed, they are down on the floor due to motion sickness. Classic Dragon Slayer. In the meantime, we can see that the boat is being lifted upwards. At first, I thought it's Grey using ice to lift the boat up, but it was actually Brandish Sama who made one rock larger and helping our crew. Brandish Sama, we love you. Back on the boat, we have our matchups. First is Natsu and Wendy versus Scullion. Scullion attacks with Ash, to which Natsu uses his Fire Dragon Roar. Scullion is able to overpower Natsu and turn his flames to ashes. Then Wendy instantly goes into Dragon Force again. Okay, we have to talk about this. Wendy, who is essentially a minor, can do this, but Natsu, who is 10 times stronger than Wendy, cannot go Dragon Force at will. Natsu would look so much cooler in his Dragon Force mode. That has yet to happen for a longer period of time. Back to the fight, Wendy does a sea-raising gale, essentially blowing away all the ashes of Scullion. Natsu then follows up with a punch which does next to nothing. We are then back to the Fairy Tail Guild. Everybody is consoling Toka, but Jalal is still suspicious as she gives an eerie smile. Loxus also says to Toka that she should come out clean and tell them what's actually going on, to which Toka bears a sad face saying she is going home for the day. We are then back to our second fight, Urza versus Kiria. I have to say this fight looks amazing. Urza and Kiria, two lovely ladies going back and forth. In the midst of the fight, Kiria makes an interesting comment about cutting Urza's feeling to her loved ones. Urza then blushes and immediately thinks of Jalal. This love story is going on from 2006. Can we have some progress, please? Back at Jalal's place, Toka paid her a visit. Her voice suddenly changes and her eyebrows changes to white. Toka then starts explaining that Fairy Tail is a place where many individuals with strong magic power gathers, and this will eventually lead to chaos and destruction. I do partially agree with Toka here, as we have seen in the past the skirmish with Zeref and other villains as well. Toka then raises her hand and starts absorbing Jalal's power. While doing so, she says that strong magic creates black just like Zeref and that she will paint it white. Funny thing, back when we were introduced to Zeref, he was absorbing magic or life itself from the surrounding, and there was a black mist. I like how the dots are connecting here. Back to Toka, she stops for some reason, then she tells Jalal to run away. We also see a beautiful split screen between Toka and the white mage. It seems like there are two people or at least two personalities living in one body. It's a very interesting fact, kinda reminds me of Ichigo and White Ichigo from the anime Bleach. To no one's surprise, Gajiel comes thrashing through the door and knocks down Toka, who is now unconscious. We then cut back to Urza and Kiria, and yet again some beautiful animation. Just as Kiria cuts Urza's sword, Urza makes another one with her magic power called Dragon Slayer Belserion. She made this sword with the help of Wendy's enchantment. It kinda reminds me the way Urza defeated Irene in the last season. Continuing on with the second fight with Scullion, Mad Mole joins in the fight. Natsu uses Fire Dragon Iron Fist, but Mad Mole easily blocks it. Natsu then charges up and uses Fire Dragon King Purgatory. Mad Mole is defeated and somehow Wendy's bikini top is also burned. We end up the episode with Natsu's devilish smile. I am all fired up now. This episode was another banger in my opinion. Again, a good mix of story and action. The stuff with Toka is getting more and more interesting. The fight with Diabolos is getting serious as well. And let's not forget in the prior episode that Lovey might be pregnant as well. So tell me your thoughts on this week's Fairy Tales 100-Year Quest episode. I cannot wait for the next episode to come out as usual. Thank you for watching. See you in the next episode. Bye bye and peace.